Okay, right, so Star Wars, it is a huge franchise, there is no question about that. And when it comes to video games, there are over 150 titles in its library. And Muggins here decided it'd be a great idea to do what every Star Wars fan thinks about every Star Wars games. I know, I'm a masochist. I don't know why I do it to myself. You know what, I don't think I can do this. This is a lot to take on, my friend. I don't think I can do this.
It is I, Jules, Darth Edgelordius the Emo. Do it.
Who the hell said that? But yeah, I am gonna try my best and go through every single Star Wars game and tell you what every Star Wars fan thinks of it. Just gotta find the fortitude within me.
Do it.
Who the... Was that Ewan? Right, with this in mind, I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and this is what every Star Wars fan thinks about every Star Wars game.
Do it!
Oh, come on, man, just do it. Come on. Just do it. Please. I'll be your friend.
All right, I'm doing it. May the Force be with us. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm not going to cover many of the educational games because A, I find that most of them are absolutely goddamn awful, and B, I kind of find it a little bit offensive that Yoda would be teaching me how to construct sentences, given his speech pattern. Anyway, moving on. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, 1982. Here we are, the game that started it all, and it is, it's okay. I mean, the gameplay is about as shallow as a puddle of blue milk considering what hardware that it was having to work with at the time, meaning that you would likely crash into the things that you're meant to be shooting 9 times out of 10. But you know what? For the game that started it all, it deserves your respect. At least a bit of it. Star Wars Jedi Arena, 1983. Woof. Imagine getting this game as a present and then finding out that instead of being a Jedi and going around slashing people to bits, that instead you were just going to wave around what appears to be a very, very brightly coloured pepper army as you try and deflect lasers. Seriously, in what video game universe would I want to play Luke's training session? Ooh, Darth Vader fight? Oh, no, thank you. A bit rich for me. Oh, do you want to destroy the Death Star? Oh, no, just add tea, a bit full. Yeah, let's take the farmer boy to the batting cage. Star Wars Arcade, 1983. Now, despite this actually being a really fun, if not absolute eyesore of an arcade port, the best thing and most memorable thing about this game is its insane TV ad.
Alright, let's go in!
Now, this game got ported to pretty much every console going, and if you're looking for the best one, then it's probably got to be the ColecoVision because it ran really smoothly and the graphics looked good for what the system was. But if you're looking for the worst one, then it's got to be the Commodore 64 because, oh boy, who doesn't love pressing a button and having your lasers fire a full second later? Return of the Jedi Death Star Battle. Do you like Star Wars? Yeah! Do you like video games? Yeah! Do you want to play a Star Wars video game that only goes on for about 3 minutes worth of gameplay where you play a very sick-looking Pac-Man as he tries to shoot through a Death Star that appears to be made of wet cheese? No? Oh, right, well, this is awkward then. Star Wars Arcade, The Empire Strikes Back, 1985. Your imagination is going to be very strong with the Force if you're going to understand what the hell is going on here. I literally can't make anything out. It is like what I imagine a Virtua Boy would experience if it could have nightmares. Star Wars Arcade, Return of the Jedi, 1984. Finally, a decent-looking and incredibly fun Star Wars game. And weirdly enough, this actually came out before The Empire Strikes Back destroyed our retinas with its arcade game. Not entirely sure the thought process behind that one. Now, don't get me wrong, while it does look a lot better, there are a few problems with this game. For example, the land speeder bike, it moves so quickly that you'll be smashing into trees 9 times out of 10, and I'm pretty sure when you're trying to escape the Death Star, you can't actually take damage from the pipes. Not really solid programming on those parts, but still, fun nevertheless. Death Star Interceptor for the ZX Spectrum and Commodore 64. You have to admire the sheer zero this game is giving off. I mean, for a start, it chucks the most difficult section of the entire game at you straight away with you having to fend off tons of different starfighters as you shoot your way through the Death Star shields. And then you have the sound, which can only be described as basically a death metal band if they were recording on a tin, on a string, into a bin, and then they digitized it all. Oh yeah, and by the way, your reward for beating this game is a seizure. Star Wars droids escaped from Iran. Oh my lord, this game was bad. Laughably so. I mean, as Pedalbin and your Flash mate, you've got to basically escape a prison and take on amazing Star Wars enemies such as floating smiley face or sad bouncer bot or robot in a car. What do you mean that they're not classic Star Wars villains? I don't know about you, but they're in this game. However, the true villain of the piece is the bloody control system. You've got to select what move to make from a menu and then pray to the maker that you did it quick enough to avoid being turned into scrap metal. The only thing cheaper than the deaths here was apparently the audio budget, because during the main game, there are next to no sounds. Brilliant. Also, check out how C-3PO takes out enemies by tossing a sweet wrapper at them. Abysmal. Star Wars FAMICOM, 1987. Something doesn't seem quite right about this game. I can't place my finger on it. I don't remember Darth Vader being a scorpion, and I definitely don't remember Metroids being in this game, but that's not it. What is it? Oh, I know what it is. Luke's hair's blonde in the films, not black, you idiots. Star Wars Attack on the Death Star.
Well, the Empire doesn't consider a small one-man fighter to be any threat.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Then man your ships, and may the Force be with you.
You take that back, you moof milker. Seriously, if you're going to include things like digital voice acting on the box, then you might want to actually make sure they sound like actual human voices. Woof. Star Wars Chess, 1993. How did the developers take chess and make it move even slower? Ugh, it looks so much more fun in the movies, didn't it? Although, to be fair, the animations are pretty decent. I especially love when C-3PO takes out Boba Fett. That always makes me laugh. Star Wars for the Nintendo Entertainment System, Game Boy Master System, and Game Gear. Right, okay, so this first section of the game might make you never want to play anything further than it. Tiny platforms, icy controls, enemies that knocked you on your ass in seconds. It was absolute torture. Even if you did make it out, this game was punishingly hard. Sitting alongside Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a game that clearly was marketed at kids, but programmed by the devil himself. And you know what? The Master System version of this game was better across the board. Not only did it have better graphics and sound design, but it skipped this cave level immediately. Huzzah! Huzzah! But unfortunately, somewhere the Empire was plotting their revenge. Because we got Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back for the Nintendo Entertainment System and Game Boy in 1993. So lessons were learned from the previous game, right? Hard lessons. On behalf of the player, they learned that life can be crushingly unfair for like no reason whatsoever. And on the side of the developers, they learned one lesson as well. And that was apparently that they did not want anyone beating their game at all. They thought that it wasn't hard enough, because this game is brutal. The levels are convoluted, packed with enemies, and you die quicker than the fan base's respect for George Lucas upon seeing Jar Jar for the first time. It's like the team never even watched a Star Wars film, as none of the locations or battles make sense, turning what should have been a glorious game into something that we want to pitch into the bloody Sarlacc pit. Super Star Wars. Oh, LucasArts, I see what you've done here. You've taken the original NES game and you've slapped a really nice SNES aesthetic over the top of it, but you haven't tweaked the difficulty. This game is still brutally hard. You're killing 2 generations of fans with this move. Super Empire Strikes Back. No, LucasArts, baby, you've done it again. You've put a really nice aesthetic over it, but it's still balls to the walls hard. This is like shoving an iron rod up my 2 pipes for how difficult it is. When every single enemy drops health, you know you've got a hard game. So my question is, what are you doing? Super Return of the Jedi. Stop, he's already dead. Star Wars X-Wing for the PC and Mac, 1993. As if to put their stamp of prowess on their first video game that they officially got the Star Wars IP for, LucasArts absolutely knocked this out of the park. It looked great, it played brilliantly, and it had just the right level of cheesy and wonky voice acting that the developer team was known for. It is a big, dirty thumbs up from me, but the question is, can the series stay on target? Star Wars TIE Fighter for PC and Mac, 1994. Oh, you bet your ass it could, because this game puts the cock into cockpit, because now you're playing as the bad guy. Take that, you rebel scum. Where's your fuzzy little off-the-grid Care Bears to save you now, hey? X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, 1997. Ooh, you had to go a step too far here, didn't you? It was almost the perfect trilogy, but unfortunately this game's focus on the multiplayer rather than the single player meant that things did feel a little bit shallower than the other experience. But still, it is a very enjoyable game, just not the upper echelons of what this sub-franchise had to offer. X-Wing Alliance, 1999. By the moons of Glasgow! Now we are talking, my friends. This is a brilliant return to form. If you imagine the previous game was like traveling through a bit of a bumpy asteroid field, this was riding on the back of an Exogorth. Insane and utterly brilliant. Star Wars Rebel Assault for PC, Mac, Sega CD, and 3DO, 1993. Okay, so let me just take those rose-tinted glasses off you for a second, because I know you remember this game being amazing, but I have to break it to you, it is just okay. I know, but if you look at it, the graphics are about as dirty as Jabba the Hutt's taint, and the vehicles are about as sensitive as Watto was as a racist character, aka very. However, that's not to say that the game is bad, it's just that the other games in this sub-series did things so much better. Star Wars Rebel Assault 2, The Hidden Empire, PC, PlayStation, and Mac, 1995. Now this was a sight for short circuits, let me tell you, my friends, because it took everything that the first game did, but just did it better with more locations, more activities to do, and of course, it dialed up the cheesiness, campiness, and over-the-top wonkiness of all of the acting. Seriously, it is so bad, it is brilliant. So much so that the game comes with an unlockable Mystery Science Theater 3000 mode where you can watch along and watch them critique how rubbish the acting was. I love the meta of this game. Star Wars Dark Forces, PC, Mac, and PlayStation 1, 1995. So take one part Doom and one part Star Wars and mix them together. And what do you get? You get Dark Forces, and it's utterly brilliant. Taking on the hordes of the Empire as a former Imperial agent and blasting them to base elements while also blowing everyone's mind with the fact that you could look up and down. What is not to love about this game? Seriously, I've learned so much from this game. Just do yourself a favor though and don't play the PS1 version of this game, unless of course it is that you love slideshows, because that is the frame rate. Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, PC, 1997. Okay, so just take all of the praise that I gave the original, add in better graphics, smoother gameplay, more guns and variety of weapons and gadgets to use, and then on top of it, like some sprinkling of Metachlorian cake, you get lightsabers as well. How are you not playing this game right now? Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Dash Render. What a name, am I right? And you know what? The devs themselves actually seem to be dashing to render this game out pretty quickly, because the graphics, woohoo, they are sharp as a Rancor's claw, my friend. You could cut beef on those jagged edges. And the story, it's wonky. It's definitely wonky, this story, and technically canon, but not canon, depending on who you ask at the right time of year. But you know what, though? Those controls, they are something. And by something, I mean shit. Because they will constantly lead to your deaths, either because you couldn't dodge in time or were too busy trying to figure out who you were even aiming at. Still, its B-movie charm and genuinely brilliant flying sections mean that this is held up by many as a great overall experience. And at the very worst, it's just a, we'll pop this on the fridge type of game, you know what I'm saying? Star Wars Masters of Words I Can't Pronounce. Now this can absolutely 100% get in the goddamn bin. There is little to love about this aside from the fact that you can just be Darth Vader and whomp his kid with his lightsaber, just like, go and do your homework, you naughty boy. But apart from that, it kind of wears off pretty quickly. And you know why? Because this game has input lag, and it's a fighting game. That is a death knell for anything in the genre. Star Wars Yoda Stories. Okay, so first off, this is false advertising, because at no point do you actually get to play as Yoda, nor does he deliver any specific yarns to you. Instead, the game should actually be called Star Wars Luke's Story about going to a place to ask a guy for a piece of equipment that he then has to go and do a side quest for to get that piece of equipment that then goes and unlocks a chest that he can then take back to Yoda. But somehow, that's not as catchy, is it? Star Wars Rebellion. Tutorial mode? What the hell's that? Oh, seriously, this game was absolutely brutal. I don't think I've ever won a game. Those goddamn Imperial assassins just kept on sniping me out, and it's humiliating after a while. It's like picking on somebody who just cannot fend for themselves. All joking aside though, it is a really fun experience, just an incredibly difficult one. Star Wars DROIDWORKS. Okay, I know I said no educational games before, but this one is special because it is an absolute horror show. This was like giving children access to Lego, physics engines, and robot reproduction classes all at once, as you had to build robots to then tackle obstacle courses. Which sounds fun, right? And you know what? It totally was. Building the robots, that is. Playing as them, the jank, my friends. Completing any of these obstacle courses was an absolute chore. But you know what? At least you had a dance button, which I believe that all video games from this point onward should become mandatory. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, I know. Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Right, here we are, people, the tippy top of Star Wars space shooters. This is it. This is arcade bliss. It controls perfectly. It looks amazing. The level variety is just so brilliant. There is so much to love here. Apart from maybe the Celeste level, that can get in the bin, because did anyone actually get through this without dying like 30 times? Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace for the PlayStation, Microsoft Windows, and the classic Mac operating system, 1999. So much like the prequel film itself, there is two very different experiences to be had here, depending on whether you played this game as a kid or played it as an adult. Now, as a kid, you might end up absolutely hating this game because of the fact that there are so many insta-kill moments, there are so many enemies, there is so much challenging gameplay that will kick your ass. However, as an adult who clearly loves learning about trade blockades and space politics, you'll see that this game was kind of a fine wine, or at least a very chilled bottle of Bucky that will hoof your teeth out given half a chance. If you can tame this beast, it is a blast from start to finish. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I have never loved a game so much that I am so terrible at. Seriously, I suck at this game, but I couldn't stop playing it when it came out for the N64. I thought it was utterly brilliant. It looked fantastic. It was so liquid smooth, except for when the frame rate stuttered to a near halt on some of the busier sections, but that's neither here nor there. It was still a very fun experience, and if you've never played it before, then you can pick it up on the Switch right now, and it's like a remastered version with 60 frames per second, and it just looks brilliant. What are you waiting for? And to be honest, it is far, far superior than many other pod racing games that I'm about to cover later in this list. Grumble, 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 Star Wars Bombad Racing, fuck off. Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles for the PlayStation, Dreamcast, and Game Boy Advance. I thought that we were on a good run of video games for the Star Wars franchise, and then this absolute duffer came and plonked itself out on the mat. Fantastic. And it all comes down to the hit detection, because when it came to players taking damage, it was so accurate that it could shoot the fleas off of Chewbacca, but when it came to players dealing the damage, things went so wide of the mark that it felt like somebody else was controlling your character. And if you're going to play this one, do not play the PlayStation version of this. Do yourself a favour and play the Dreamcast version, because at least then you're getting the best of what is, at best, a very mediocre experience. Star Wars Force Commander. Dated graphics. Check. Unintuitive control system. Check. Being so ambitious that we kind of felt bad about it and bought it anyway, that's a goddamn big check, my friends. Star Wars Demolition. Vigilante 8 meets Star Wars. This should have been a surefire hit, right? Well, this game had the accuracy of a goddamn stormtrooper. It's a bad miss. Star Wars Episode 1 Obi-Wan's Adventures. I can barely even tell what the hell is going on in this game, but then again, not that it matters, because the slow as erosion gameplay meant that my willpower and my batteries had died long before I'd seen anything of interest. But at least we have covered the worst Obi-Wan video game, right guys? Right guys? Star Wars Episode 1 Battle for Naboo. Right, so this, right here, should have been content that the actual Episode 1 film should have included, because it actually showed the meat and bones of what happened on the planet, how things went from being okay to not okay. There was tons of wars going on, and this is a brilliant way of filling it in. Why wasn't this in the film? It was kind of like Rogue Squadron and one part Star Wars Battlefront. It was a great mix, and I'm surprised it doesn't get much more love. Star Wars Starfighter. If there was any video game that I would like to lick, it'd be this. Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. If I could put any game inside of me, it'd be this. Star Wars Super Bombad Racing. If I could wish for any game to be turned into a human so I could set it on fire, it'd be this. Terrible collision detection and controls that feel like you're a brick on ice doth not make a good kart racing game. Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. It's Age of Empires but with Star Wars sprinkled over it. Yes, please. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. So how do you make the first Rogue Squadron game even better? Well, first you up the speed to F0 levels, then you make it look absolutely liquid smooth like it was made of melted butter, and then you add in so much immaculate gameplay that every single level remains memorable. That's how you do it. I know it's a pretty big feat, but Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, it knocked it out of the park. Star Wars Obi-Wan. Hoodoo! Star Wars Bounty Hunter. You see, Battlefront 2, this is what happens when you actually have a bad guy commit to being bad. Not your story where you just gave up on the Empire after like 3 missions. This game is brilliant. This game's really, really fun. And who doesn't love being the bad guy using a jetpack to go around and use all these crazy gadgets and taking down people for money? Why has this game not had a remaster and a sequel? Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones for the Game Boy Advance. Ooh, shove this one up your exhaust port, THQ. This was absolutely terrible. Star Wars The Clone Wars for the GameCube, PlayStation 2 and Xbox. See Star Wars Demolition? This is what you should have been. Star Wars Racer Revenge. It's basically Episode 1 Pod Racer, but with better graphics, smoother gameplay, and the fact that you now kind of have like a Burnout takedown mode where you smash into other players quite a lot and ignore the absolute fragility of what pod racers would actually be in real life. It's brilliant. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. Oh yeah, I like this game a lot. Oh yeah, plus the multiplayer was really dope. Star Wars The New Droid Army. Imagine Diablo, but with a Star Wars paint job. Sounds brilliant, right? But now move everything at half speed and take away about half of the enemies as well, so you've got nothing to fight on those long slogs. Doesn't sound as good now, does it? Star Wars Galaxies. Hey kid, do you want to play a Star Wars MMORPG? Oh boy, do I? Well, here you go, sport. Can I be a Jedi? Sure you can. Oh, awesome! But only if you play the game for like 4 months straight to unlock it, and then if you die about 3 times, we'll remove that feature from your profile. Oh, that sounds awful. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. While other games on this list are brilliant, exceptional even, this one might well be the first one to have the title of perfect. It is that good. This game was born of the Force to lead us to our true destiny of brilliant Star Wars games forever. Right? Star Wars Flight of the Falcon. Well, that didn't fucking last long, did it? Jesus Christ, less of a flight and more of a fucking nosedive. Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. It's Jedi Outcast, but now you can use lightsabers. 10 out of 10! Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike. Ah, bless this game. It really shot for the that's no small moon, but unfortunately didn't quite get there. It still landed amongst the stars though, which is good because the main game of this is utterly brilliant. They tried to innovate by adding in on-foot sections. It's just a shame that they were absolute bunk. But there is an absolute super special treat for anyone who bought this game. It comes bundled with a second disc, which allows you to play missions from the other games in 2-player. Bless this game. On its little butt. Nice one, mate. Star Wars Battlefront Classic. Oh my god, by the Force, this game was good. I cannot express how many hours I've spent to this game and its Galactic Conquest mode with my friend Liam. We played this game religiously and found out the most banter way for the Empire to ever win was the fact that if you won enough, you'd build up this sort of like meter, and when it got full, you could use the Death Star to destroy a planet, thus removing a multiplayer level from the game. He lost because of the fact that it kept on just simply blowing up every planet. It was brilliant. Ah. God, I missed this game. I played it recently, and without him there, it doesn't feel the same. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Well, take everything that I just said, but better it. Better vehicles, more characters, even the fact that you can play as heroes now. It was just so delicious. I would slurp it up every day. Stone cold classic of a game. Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force. It may have taken them about a decade, but this is probably the closest that we're ever going to get to an easy mode of those NES games. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. Now, if you were to rate this game on like 95% of your playthrough, you would say that this is utter perfection. It took everything that the original game did and even added in more stuff, fixed the very few bugs that the original had, and delivered a fantastic and emotionally engaging narrative. But that last 5% really took a nosedive because there was constraints with the developer time and budgets as well, and they had to release the game, and so they had to cut out a ton of content, which meant that you got to the end and you were like, wait a minute, why am I here? How did I get here? Where are my friends? What am I doing? And it does sour the experience just a little bit. But if you can base it on the first half of it, absolutely fantastic. Second half, not so much. Well, not even the second half. It's the 99th percent. That's when it starts going a bit downhill. But before I keep on rambling, you can download a mod which somebody has made, which has put all of the cut content back in on the PC. Would definitely recommend you doing that. Star Wars Republic Commando. I could bang on and on about how this squad-based shooter is one of the best Star Wars games ever made, but I actually have a more pertinent question. Where the hell is my remaster? Lego Star Wars, the video game. So here we are, the beginning of an explosion of LEGO video games, and there are so many to cover that I am going to do a bit of a cheeky thing and I'm going to group all of them together into one. And you know why? It's because at their core, the experience is the same, but that experience is utterly delicious. Have you ever had a bad time playing a LEGO Star Wars game? I didn't think so. They're all really fun. Except unless you hate collectathons. But if in that case, what are you doing? Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. This game, much like the film itself, divides the fanbase somewhat. On the one hand, you've got intense action, fun lightsaber combat, and a few sneaky, cheeky secrets to find, but on the other, you've got, well, the whole camera being operated by a stubborn drunk thug. If you can get over that, it's a fun time, but if you can't, ooh, you're in for a bad ride. Star Wars Republic Commando, Order 66. No, this does not count, give me my remaster. Star Wars Empire at War. Ooh, I'd like to change my answer for Best Star Wars RTS, please. Star Wars Lethal Alliance. I really want to love this game, but the DS control system does not want to be touched by human hands. What is going on with this? It's just like, it makes it a chore to play. If you're going to play this game, pick up the PSP version where they fixed a lot of that, and it is so much better as a result. Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron. It is such a shame that very few people got to experience what is arguably the best that Battlefront 2 has to offer, at least from an expansion mode. Custom characters, tweaked gameplay, the ability to morph into one of the devastating heroes in the middle of battle, it all made for a tighter and more frantic experience than ever before. Yes. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Well, I can definitely say that nobody saw this coming. A chance to play as Darth Vader's secret apprentice? I mean, yes, sign me up. I absolutely loved as well that they did some marketing for this game before any of us actually knew about it when we got to play as the apprentice in the Soul Calibur games. And I was like, hang about, it's Starkiller. Sick. This game was bloody brilliant. An action spectacle tour de force, as it were. Pun. Although the section where you can bring down the Star Destroyer, that can drown itself in a lake. Star Wars The Clone Wars Lightsaber Duels. Oh, God. Well, I mean, I guess that it's at least only half an hour long. I'm clutching at straws here, guys. Star Wars The Clone Wars Jedi Alliance. I know I critiqued some of the games for being too easy, but this is like baby's first Star Wars game. It is way too easy. Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures. Right, so in another sweeping statement, I'm collecting most of the mobile games that carry the Star Wars banner and basically providing one review for all of them, because when you break it down, the experience is kind of the same. They're great games, but with all the best stuff locked away. Star Wars mobile games are particularly stinky in this regard, with having some of even the most basic functions that other titles would call essential locked away behind pay or time walls. So take this big, thick paste of meh and just spread it all over the mobile games as my coverage for them. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. Send in the clones. Those primo clones. Send me those soulful and woeful clones by the bowlful clones. They're already here. In a game that actually just wasn't as good as the original and felt like a really cheap cash-in. Bit disappointing, isn't it? Star Wars The Old Republic. I honestly couldn't give a single womp rat about the gameplay of this title. I'm blown away by how good those introductory cutscenes were. These should have been short films in their own regard. That being said, as an MMORPG, for a long old time, the Old Republic couldn't really get down what it wanted to be. Thankfully, with tons of support and some great expansions, it is a game that, while not being for everyone, certainly is a brilliant experience for those willing to lose weeks, if not months, of their lives. Connect Star Wars. No. Star Wars Battlefront EA. Now, don't get me wrong, this looks great and it plays spectacularly, but where's the rest of it? This was kind of like an entree. This was like a wafer with like caviar and smoked salmon or whatever it is that people eat that's really, really fancy. I don't know, gold, and then it's just a bit of oil on the top, crude oil, and then you just eat it and go, that was tasty, a bit weird, but where's the rest of it? This felt more like a proof of concept than a full game to me. Still, in terms of quality of the gameplay, this gets 2 blaster rifle rounds straight into my eyes. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Oh, I've been looking forward to this one, so let's have a little chat, shall we? Wait, what? Oh, god damn it. In the time it's taken for me to write all of these other Star Wars games, EA and DICE went pedal to the metal in order to make this game actually decent. I mean, sure, no one's going to forget about the loot boxes, or surprise mechanics, as I should say, nor the pink Vader comment, nor the most downvoted comment in all of Reddit history, and we will forget about the totally boring campaign that you hyped up so much. But from a gameplay perspective, this is one of the best FPS experiences in the entire franchise. Gunplay is weighty, there are tons of different modes and classes to play as, plus 2 different time periods to play through, and some impeccable space combat as well. This game's legacy is kind of akin to Darth Vader. It was imposing and terrible, but underneath it's just an old soul looking for some love. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Jesus Christ, EA, where were you keeping this one? This was a brilliantly unexpected title. A lot of people call it the Dark Souls of Star Wars, but it's definitely more the Dark Horse of the series, coming out of nowhere and completely winning us all over with its delightful characters and story. It's a shame that the publishing giant didn't deem it worthy of much advertisement and seemingly dumped it out onto a tray going, oh, I guess you can have this then, thinking that it was slop that we would just completely throw back in its face, but what it actually had delivered was a Sunday roast with all the trimmings, boom, 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 gravy on top, you know what I'm saying? And number 1, Star Wars Squadrons. Again, EA, what are you doing? This game is utterly brilliant. Where were you keeping this one? And in VR, my god, it is unlike anything I have ever experienced. It is sublime. Is this some sort of weird apology for Battlefront 2? Because if so, I'm all for it. Keep apologizing, my friend. Keep dishing these out because these are delicious. Ooh, and there we go, my friends. That was what every Star Wars fan thinks about every Star Wars game. I hope that you enjoyed that in this very long format list, and I hope you had a few laughs along the way. It's been a long journey, indeed it has. But still, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below, and if you want to chat to me further, you can do so over on Twitter at RetroJ with a 0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice. It's my personal gaming channel where I stream every single Wednesday and Sunday. It'd be great to see you over there, my friends. But before you go, whatever you get up to today, I hope that you go out there and use the Force to absolutely smash it. You are a massive ledge in my eyes, and you should treat yourself as such, alright? Big love from me to you. Cool. Right, I'll speak to you soon then, guys. Bye!